Hey there, it's Whitney with messengerofspirit.com, and today we're going to be talking about your loved ones in spirit, when they're around and why sometimes they're not around. So our loved ones in spirit always like to come around on special occasions. Now, don't get me wrong, that doesn't mean that they're not around us on a more regular basis, but our loved ones like to come in, especially around birthdays or holidays, or a lot of times they come in on their birthday into spirit. So that means the day that they passed into spirit, you will sometimes feel their presence a little bit more strongly at that time. They also like to come in. Some loved ones are more, I would say, interactive with us. Sometimes they really want to help out. And then other times our loved ones just kind of like to take a step back and let us do our own thing. They don't want to get too involved and they don't want to meddle so much. So they kind of give us our own space. Some of your loved ones, when they come through in readings, are super chatty. They like to give me, the medium, details about who they were and what they wore and what they did and how they passed. While other loved ones in spirit might not be as chatty. And believe it or not, here's some reasons why. If you had a loved one that was kind of conservative, wasn't really sure about all this mediumship stuff, I actually see them in spirit also being reserved. Like, I'm not quite sure I want to participate in this. Now, that doesn't mean there's anything wrong with mediumship. It's just their belief system and they're trying to get used to how to communicate with the earth plane. Another reason why our loved ones in spirit may not come through or are around us as much is because they might have to go through their own healing. This is especially true if someone has passed very quickly in an accident or an unexpected passing. But I will say I have seen loved ones who have passed 40 years from when someone's having a reading with me and they are still in that healing bubble, or they're just not ready to come through for whatever reason. Now in spirit, there's no time. Here on earth, there's linear time, right? And so it could be 50 years here, and in spirit, it could be like nothing, because it's all kind of the same. Now, also, another reason why our loved ones in spirit may not be able to come through in readings or may not be able to be around you is because they want to go through their own training, or they got something that they need to do. I have found that a lot of loved ones, when they pass, don't just want to sit there and do nothing. They are ready, they are busy, they might want to help as learning how to be a spirit guide for somebody. They might want to get some additional training. They want to be catching up on what their favorite pastime was. So sometimes they are required somewhere else. Most of the time, I would say about 85% of the time, if I'm looking at it in the whole, our loved ones in spirit are able to come through in readings and around you. It just really depends. I would say the biggest factor of why they cannot come through is because if you are in a really raw and emotional and vulnerable place because you're still grieving their passing, our loved ones don't want to add anything else to the mix, because if they come through, you might feel like, yeah, that would make me feel better. But oftentimes they want to give you your distance so that you can start to heal and feel a little bit more complete. So it's a better interaction when they do come through. So that means our loved ones can have their own healing time, their own healing period of time. Sometimes they want to take a step back because they want you to have your own healing time. And sometimes they are in training and doing other things. Now, those loved ones who just want to take a few steps back and don't want to get too involved in your life, they may still come through in your reading, but they might not be giving you a whole lot of their opinions because they want you to just kind of make sure that you're doing what you need to do and not necessarily what they're wanting you to do. And that's one reason our loved ones are not our spirit guides, because our loved ones have trouble being objective. They are going to be more subjective. Now, I have seen many fathers and mothers in spirit come through and definitely let their children know their opinions on things. And sometimes their opinions on things are not the same as that client's spirit guides, because the spirit guides are able to be very objective. They might say, you know, this person needs to be going through this lesson, and the only way for this person to learn this lesson is to do X, Y, Z. And the parent in spirit, or the grandmother or grandfather, might say, but I don't want this person to have to go through that because they're still your parent, or they're still your grandparent. So that definitely happens. But rest assured, when you are talking about them, or you're thinking about them, or you're really feeling their presence, they're most likely around, and they most likely hear you. So talk to them out loud, or you can do it with the intention that they hear your inner thoughts if you would like to have a visit from your loved ones, and see what pops up. Now, if you haven't checked out your intuitive language yet, because that's going to be the best way Spirit can communicate with you, you can always go to messengerofspirit.com/quiz.